So, I got a new brand. I've never tried this company. Supposedly they're USA made. I got this from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I will link them down in the description. But blackjack knives, let's talk about it. I just right off the bat, spoiler alert, I think it's horrible. I do. And I really hate to go in on these guys like this, but so I seen a $100 knife. Let me be clear. I seen a $120, $130 knife. They had a couple of them on Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Now, they're both S35VN. One is like a steel liner lock with, you know, a bolster. I think the bolster's in aluminum or something. It looked cool. You know, it looked cool. I was like, okay, not too bad. And then I seen the other one. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should buy the other one, you know, just in case, you know, save the 30 bucks just in case if I don't like it. But I figured it's a $100 knife, right? USA made. And in my opinion, I don't think it should be a problem for USA companies to give us a quality knife for $100. But I did not know it was assisted. I don't know if it said it somewhere, but I don't see it. Maybe it does, but it is assisted, and that's the one thing right there. I don't like that. I want it to be manual. I don't know about the other one with the bolster, but that's just the beginning of it. Like, I could kind of get past the assisted part. You know, a lot of people might like it, but there's a bunch of other things. One, the edge termination, which I did see from the picture when I bought it. The edge termination is just horrid. And then the centering is way off, way off. There's a lot of wiggle when it's closed, a little bit of side to side. I can always tighten that up. Up and down, I can feel a tiny hint of it. So I'm worried that that'll just get worse and worse over time. Obviously the action is going to be good because it's assisted aside from the closing part. You can easily close it one-handed, so that's cool. It does have the multiple forms of deployment. And with assisted action, you know, I personally think, you know, it's more for like very budget knives. I just don't think it's, you know, especially in 2023, I know there's a lot of great knives that have been out for a long time, but in today's market, you know, companies have perfected the detent, perfected the action. And I think a lot of companies that are using assisted these days are cutting corners. You know, they do it to where they can, you know, do it without having a nice smooth pivot. They don't have to worry about tuning a detent really well. You know, they don't have to make sure the blade is nice and centered, you know, and nice and free flowing. They don't have to do any of that because they have the spring to carry it out. So, you know, it's just, to me, it's cheap, especially because there's companies that are able to tune detents to perfection that nobody will fail, not even great grandma will fail this knife because it's tuned so well. And, you know, that helps it, you know, and you can see like the quality because of them tuning a detent perfect, the nice smooth action, you know, it really stands out, you know, what they did in order to get there. With assisted knives, you know, yeah, they snap out there, but, you know, just in a lot of cases, you know, they're rough around the edges and they have these other inherent issues that you just don't see at face value. But, you know, I do understand there's going to be some people, maybe handicapped or for some reason that like assisted knives. So I get that. It does have S35VN, but on the S35VN, we have one of the most misground blades I've seen in a long time. Like this would take I don't even know if I'd be able to match this up from one side to the other because it is very mix matched. And if I did, it would take a lot of steel removal to get this evened up. But let's say I don't really care about that because, you know, to some extent, I'm not that worried about it. It's still going to cut just fine. It'll still sharpen up. It's just one side of the bevel will look a little bit bigger than the other. But there's also microchipping. So right off the bat, like I have to sharpen it. Like this is a horrible edge as far as sharpness goes. Lots of little microchips that I can easily see and feel, especially feel. But I usually sharpen my knives, so let's say again, that's not that big of a deal. But just the fact that it has that, I right now automatically am thinking either one of two things. Either one, the heat treat's bad, or two, it's got a very burnt edge, which is more than likely the thing. It likely has a burnt edge, and so who knows how much steel I'll have to remove to get into good steel. you know, knives that are even more expensive come with burnt edges, which is, you know, is pretty common. About 30% of blades come with a little bit of, you know, edge burning. But, you know, there's some cases where it's like you have to remove like 3, 4, you know, sharpenings worth of steel in order to get into quality steel. So because of all those things added up, I'm probably gonna return it. The clip and the micarta is ugly. Like the micarta itself, you know, on the picture, I was hoping that it was gonna look better in person, but it looks like Chinese micarta, like the cheapest level of Chinese micarta. The micarta that they're not even barely using anymore, that they used to use back in the day. So I'm guessing the brown micarta is also just as bad, and I can kind of see it is. So that makes me question if it's made in the USA. Because, you know, and maybe it is, maybe it's just hand assembled, and that's probably the case. All the parts are probably made overseas, sent over here, and I don't know if that's true. So I hate to make, you know, a statement that's not true, but I will say this, that these parts look like they're made in China, especially like this micarta. You just, I don't know if I've ever seen a USA knife with this crappy of micarta. Access to the lock bar is good. Lockup, you know, it's got a nice strong lockup, a little stronger than I prefer for a brand new knife, but you know, I'm not that worried about that. But all in all, $100, right? $100. So for $100, you might as well just go with something from Kershaw, the Kershaw Launch Series. Now, I know a lot of people can't have autos, and that would be an automatic. They do have some assisted knives like the Kershaw Leak, the Dividend, things like that. You might as well go that route. But as far as like autos, man, they have a ton of great autos. The Launch 1, the Launch 15 in MagnaCut steel right here. Now this one's quite a bit more money, like $50 more, but you're getting quality aluminum, a decent quality micarta, what actually looks like USA micarta, and a good grind, you know, all that, you know, even grind, all that stuff. So shout out to Kershaw, you know, because they're the ones that are actually pushing good quality USA products in the $100 range. You know, it might be like 115 in some areas, but granted, this one's up to 130. And let me just say, this knife right here, these knives, a $20 Ganzo smokes this thing. And I mean like on another level of smoking. Like if it was an ass kicking, it's getting beat down like bad, because it is like, from the action, the fit, the finish, the tolerances, the centering, the lockup, everything, every detail is done at a way higher level for around 22, 23 bucks, something like that. Even if I move over to like a $30 one, $33 one, whatever it is, same thing, man. Perfect centering, perfect action. It doesn't need an assist in order to have super snappy action. Now, I'm not trying to compare USA to China, because I know ours are always going to cost more. We pay a better living wage. I get that, and a lot of other reasons. But I don't think that because in this case, that would mean that this is the quality of like a $10 Chinese knife. Let's say that. So I don't think that we should get $10. You know, like I'm saying that for $100, we should at least be able to compare to a $25 knife, right? Right? If like, come on, if we could do that, do you know how fast some of these $100 USA made knives would sell if we could just? And listen, I don't make knives, so I don't, you know, like I can just feel the comments, you know, like, well, you go and do it, you go, and it's like, listen, I understand that. I'm not saying I can do it. You know, it's just, you know, I see all these companies, and I wish we could get a USA company that could come in at $100 for the people that, you know, that want to buy USA made, but are not, you know, they're just not able to spend the $150, $200 on a knife. Now, I would say, you know, even the SCHRADE, right? This SCHRADE right here, you can get it on sale for like $130 now or something like that. This would be a way better route. You got a manual action, a very strong locking system being a crossbar lock. It has S35 VN as well. You know, so this thing is worlds apart from this blackjack, you know. Yeah, I would say, man, just go with a Benchmade Griptilian, you know, for like, was it 140, between 130, 140 bucks for the base model. But man, yeah, or just like I said, the Kershaws. But this is just, to me, this is not acceptable. And you know, when you look at like just like the little details are like really to me, and I hate to dig into a USA company like this, but you know, these little details look like an M-Tech. They literally look like the same thing you get from a gas station. How is this 100? I don't care that it's S35VN. At this point, I would rather have the quality be up to par and have it be 14C28N. Anyways, you know, granted the S35 is great if it's heat treated well, which I don't know. And you know, it possibly is, possibly not, but it's definitely not. Even if it had the best heat treated S35 on the planet, it's still not worth the $100 price tag. My goodness. And you know, the $130 one I haven't tried. I'm guessing it's assisted as well. You know, I don't know, you know, I haven't tried it, so I don't know, but anyways, you know, I don't want to drag this company, Blackjack Knives. They kind of remind me of the Baron Sons knives. I do see they have a fixed blade. Maybe fixed blade is their cup of tea, because I'll tell you this, their fixed blade looks really nice. It looks like it has good quality USA micarta, a nice leather sheath. At least it looks like it's good. The grind looks good, at least from the pictures. I'm looking at a picture, but it's also 300 bucks. So I don't see what steel is it. A2 tool steel. Yeah. Like I said, you know, maybe that's their cup of tea and they've only just dipped their toes in the folders. I don't know. Like I said, I've, you know, this is my first time getting to try them, at least to my knowledge, like as I remember. And like I said, they remind me of the Baron Sons, but I remember some of the Baron Sons came in at like 50, 60 bucks for this level of quality, with the same materials, S35VN, so on. Anyways, there you guys go. Yeah, I'm probably going to return it. I would warn against this one. I'd say just stay away from it. And you know, if the company sees this, you know, if you do get some better stuff, you know, and if you want to send it to me, I'll check it out. I will absolutely change, you know, what I've said, and I will, you know, I'll recommend it. I can't tell you how bad I want to recommend it. Like, I truly want to recommend as many USA made knives as possible, but you know, I can't do it at the detriment of, you know, I can't do it at the detriment of my credibility on what's good quality, what's decent, what's acceptable, especially to my standards, which I do. It's not that I hold a high bar, you know, it's not that. It's just that there's little details that I think are a must. You know what I mean? And if they are skipped, some of these, well, then these things need to be hit, you know? So in order to have a good quality functional tool, especially when you get over the $75, $85 range, you know, when you get into the $100, $120, $130 range, you know, but put it this way, Hogue does it, like, they did the Sig Sauer K320 for like, what, 144 bucks, something like that, with S30V. With a crossbar lock, that was manual. They have other knives, you know, in aluminum and stuff that are around that price range, and the Hogue DEKA. You know, there's a lot of examples where companies are able to do it for a few dollars more. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.